Gary, a small introduction. The day or the evening you were announced the Indian cricket team coach, it was in Delhi. And in typical BCCI style, it was the most well-kept secret. Yes. And there were about 500 camera crew outside your hotel, and you were whisked out of the back door. And you took an Air India flight to Bombay to probably take your flight back to South Africa. I am the unfortunate guy who sat next to you for the entire journey, not realizing it was you, who the whole world was chasing. And I saw you in the bus finally, and I realized this is the man which the whole India wanted a bite from. So that's my introduction today. So my question to you, well, Dan has just left the room. BCCI is probably the most commissioned organization in the world. How did you manage to get success out of non-commissioned? So that's a really interesting part. If you could just share your thoughts. Thank you.
Fantastic. What a great question. Have we got time?
They want to hear the answer, Gary.
Okay, so the short answer is you've got to learn how to manage upwards. Okay, and you've got to have a friend on the inside to make that work. But what a great story, and so reflect back on that just as how I actually got the Indian job to coach the Indian team. I mean, it's quite a bizarre story because I'd done 0 hours of coaching a team. I'd done no team coaching at all. And Greg Chappell, as you know, was the previous coach, a tumultuous time as I understood. And I think there was a kind of an 8-month period where they couldn't find another coach. I got this email. I live in Cape Town, way down in darkest Africa, right on the bottom there. And I get this email from Sunil Gavaskar. He says, "Hi Gary, hope you're doing well. Just wondered whether you would consider coaching the Indian cricket team." I looked at this thing and I thought it was a hoax. I thought this was someone pulling a fast one on me. I never responded to it because I thought, no, there's obviously a local DJ in South Africa having a go. 2 days later, I get a follow-up at Sunil Gavaskar. Would you consider coming for an interview to coach the Indian cricket team? So I went back that evening from the office and I showed my wife the email and she looked at it and she said, "Oh, they must have the wrong person." And anyway, he attached a business class ticket, you see. And that really got me going because I thought, geez, business class, go to India, I haven't been there for ages. What a trip. So I said to my wife, I think I must just jump on the plane. I arrive, as you know, at Delhi airport 3 days later. I go through the air bridge and I see my name on a placard there and I see all the other passengers going off to the right and I get whisked off to the left. I get through Delhi International Airport in about 7 minutes. I'm in a car. I go to the Taj Palace Hotel, the Taj Palace in Delhi. As you know, I went, instead of being dropped off at the front, I get sent around the back into the service lift up into the 5th floor. 5 hours later, I'm back in the car and I'm now go for this interview. I arrive at this club in Delhi. The first person I see was the current captain, now the current coach, Anil Kumble. And he kind of sees me in the distance, says, "That Gary Kirsten." I'd played a lot of cricket against Anil, and he says, "What are you doing here?" So I said, "Well, I've come for an interview to coach you." So we laughed because it was... It was quite a laughing matter, I then go into this interview, and it's very intimidating, as you can imagine, all these BCCI board officials. And then the first question that was asked of me was, "Mr. Kirsten, will you present your vision for Indian cricket?" To which I replied, "Well, I don't have one." And then another question was asked of me. I think it was Ravi Shastri said, "Oh, Gary, what did you guys as a South African team do to beat the Indians?" So that was a good icebreaker because at least I could answer it. And I think I made about 3 points. It took about 90 seconds. And one other question was asked of me. I don't even remember it. And then one of the board officials, I see him slide a piece of paper across. I've been in the interview for about 4 minutes. And he slides a piece of paper across and he says, Mr. Kirsten, will you sign? So I look at the piece of paper and I realize it must be a contract. And, but I don't see my name on it, you see. And then I'm looking for my name and then I see Greg Chappell's name on it, you know. So I give the contract back and said, that's not my contract, sir. And he takes out a pen and he crosses Greg Chappell's name out and writes. Slides the contract back and, will you sign, you see? So I'm now under pressure. I've been offered the job to coach the Indian cricket team, the most high-profile sporting team in the world, on 0 hours of coaching experience. There's a bit of risk in that, eh? Should be your new recruitment strategy. I'm telling all your CEOs out there. Anyway, I said, sir, would you mind if I have some time to make a decision? And he said, well, how long do you want? So I said, well, it's quite a big decision. Maybe should go home and discuss it with my family. And I said, is a week okay? He said, fine. And I didn't realize, though, in India, if you show intent, that's enough. You don't need to sign a contract. So I took the contract unsigned, and the next day, as you know, about to get on the plane. But before I went to the airport, I happened to switch on the TV. And I don't know, in those days, there were about 9 or 10 news channels. And I flicked on each news channel. I saw my face over every news channel. The new Indian coach, you see. But to wrap up that story, the funny part about it is the interview ends in, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 minutes, whatever it was. And we go for a buffet dinner. It was quite late at that point. And Ravi Shastri tells me the story 6 months later. See, I've been in the job for 6 months. And he said, Gary, come here, I've got a story to tell you. He says, you know, in your interview, when we were having dinner afterwards, he said, one of the board officials came up to me and he said to me, hey, Ravi, what did you think of Kepler Wessels in that interview? So very humbly, I accepted and signed the crossed-out version of the contract and signed on to become the Indian coach. And from that moment on, it was the most incredible journey of my life and certainly my family's life as well. At that point in time, we had a 4-year-old and a 9-month-old child. Our third wasn't even born yet. And my wife just commuted out of South Africa. And we just thrived on this journey of India, with ending obviously with the World Cup, but in many ways almost immaterial to the 3 years of fun that we had.